Hello. So I apologize if I seem low energy today. I don't know what. I'm sick with something and I've barely been able to get out of bed. But I really wanted to finish doing this video because I did the makeup and then I got back in bed and I've gotten back out of bed to finish really quickly. And that is a little tutorial on the makeup look I've got on my face, also with a review on this palette right here. This is the Profusion Sultry palette that contains 24 eyeshadows. And I got it, it was priced at $6.99. It was on sale at Target. Normally it's $9.99, which, you know, for the amount of eyeshadows that you're getting is not bad. I'm trying to open it, it's a little hard to open. But the packaging on it I do think is nice. These are all of the colors. I think that the color selection is awesome. You can do so many different things with the selection of these colors. It comes with a brush as well that of course I have lost, but the brush works well too. It's a double-ended that has one end that's flat and then one end that is fluffy. But yes, so overall opinion is that the pricing is great. The color layout is great, but this palette just didn't do it for me. The palette almost has a perfumey scent to it when you open it, and not in a good way. It's nothing that's terrible, and when you're applying it on your eyes, you don't smell it, but that was one of the first things I kind of noticed about it. And there's not like a polite way to say this. So when you at first put the eyeshadows on, which you'll see me do in the little tutorial, they will at first go on with the mattes anyways. They'll go on pigmented. But as soon as you start to blend them, the good thing is that they do blend very easily. The bad thing though is that as they start to blend, you blend away a lot of your pigment. So what I had to do is I had to apply the eyeshadow, then I had to blend my lines to get it to look how I wanted to, and then I had to go in and I had to keep on packing on more of the deep purple in particular after blending it, because I would blend but then lose pigment where I wanted pigment to still be. Go back in, add pigment, and blend. So they're not impossible to work with. That's just the most major con I feel like I had. And the mattes, though, I do think are definitely workable. That's the only, like, con I have for them, which isn't a big deal. And the shimmers in this palette, though, are what really disappointed me. If you look, I really do like this color selection is amazing. And there's a lot of pretty shimmers, like these three right here. These jewel tones are one of the main reasons that I bought it, because this just makes me so happy for the color selection. But these do not give you a lot of oomph. Even when you foil your eyeshadows, at first I applied them with a dry brush and they were lackluster. I was like, okay, not a lot, but you know, that's not the most uncommon thing. But then when I foiled the eyeshadows, even with foiling them, I still found them to be lackluster. Which, you know, it's just kind of a bummer. It just is what it is. I don't even know if you can really tell that I have a purple shimmer on my eye because of how kind of unenthusiastic the shimmer is. But I did put the shimmery purple in it. And to be honest, you really can't even see it that much. When I foiled it, it made it pop a little bit more, but it kind of just blended in with the matte purple that I used from the palette. And then the other colors, I used this color right here, very lackluster, and I foiled it. It's like a pretty enough color, but it didn't perform that great. In particular, Ella, this like beautiful icy light blue right there, is really, really bad. I don't know if it's supposed to be a little bit more glittery. It looks like they were trying to go for something that was a bit more, had a glitter impact on it. And I used it under my eye, for the inner corner part under my eye, and it was just bad. It was chunky, it was bad, which I hate saying, but it's just, I feel like with affordable makeup now, there's affordable makeup that works out there, and you may not get as many colors in a palette as this for this price, but I feel like they work better. There was also fallout with these eyeshadows. Nothing that was like crazy amount, but there was more fallout than I normally have with my eyeshadows. And I will say, but there's not a lot of kickback in the pan, which is kind of funny. So if you look at my pan looks really clean for all of the colors that I used. But when applying them to my face, I did have fallout. So there was some crumbliness going on. That wasn't necessarily with the mattes, that was more with the shimmers that I used. And my only other note, let me think. I was gonna say one more thing. Was I? That might have been it. I feel like if my note was important, I would have remembered it. But yeah, so that is just kind of it on the overall review. I didn't tragically think that these worked that great. If you want like just like a fun play around palette, if you're new to makeup, you can definitely do stuff with this. This not being my favorite eyeshadow formula doesn't mean that you can't do stuff with it, because you most assuredly can. You can build up your formulas. They blend out nicely, so you can still create smooth looks with them. But this isn't a makeup that I would necessarily recommend that you go purchase if you're like, give me your favorite drugstore products, if that makes sense. But yes, that is just kind of that. I'm not going to do swatches. The colors are pretty... This was the other disappointing thing. The colors are kind of true to pan, but it's almost like you take the color in the pan and then you turn the dial on the actual color. These colors to me had much more of a, not muddy necessarily, but they were more dull when applied to the eyelid. That was the last thing that I wanted to say. Ha, see, I remembered it. But these eyeshadows are dull. Not for the mattes, but for the shimmers more. I noticed that the color was just dull, and I hate not liking something, but yep, that's just how the dice fell on this one. It didn't do it for me. But if you love it, that is amazing and awesome. This is just my personal opinion, how they worked with me and the techniques that I like to use. And yeah, I do like how the eye look came out. It really was the main disappointment for me, I would have to say, are the shimmers though. So I'm going to stop rambling about the shimmers, because I think I've been talking about them for 3 minutes now. And we will go ahead and slip on over into the tutorial. Okay, so to kick it off, I'm just going to set my eye primer, which was a concealer that I used with this natural skin tone color. So I'm just gonna pat that into the whole entire lid, and then we're gonna go in with this purple color, and on kind of a dense shader brush almost, we're going to create the shape of the eye look. I really wanted to play around with the shape that we place the eyeshadow in. I know a lot of the times we'll do kind of a cat eye, but this time we are going to follow the curve of the eye, and then on the inner part of the eye, what you see me doing is applying the shadow really high to kind of give like a lift to the inner part of the eye. I really like the shape it creates. But yeah, so definitely make sure, don't be scared, go high with where you're placing your eyeshadow. And I am just packing on the purple and building it up. Then I'm going to take just a small little fluffy blending brush. This is a little bit of a denser brush, and I am just going to gently go along the line of that purple eyeshadow. And we are just going to, with the lightest of hand, blend and buff, and you'll see the difference between our blended eye and then our unblended eye. So we've got a nice diffused look versus a non-diffused look. Then we're going to go in with this shimmery purple color. I think it is really pretty, but we'll see how that works out, right? And I am just taking it on kind of a flat little brush. This is me patting it on without foiling it or anything. And it, yeah, was very lackluster. So I went ahead and foiled it with some setting spray. And then I started patting it back on to my eye, and it did get more intense and a little bit more shimmery. But I confess, I feel like after I blended the colors out a little bit more, that this color just kind of disappeared. And speaking of blending, all the blending that we have done kind of lessened the purple, so we're going to go back in with that purple and blend it into the shimmer, as well as reinforce kind of the original shape that we created with the eye. But don't take the purple too far out, because you don't want to ruin all the blending that you've done. So keep the purple more concentrated towards the center. Then we're going to go in with this light champagne-y color. We're not even going to try and put it on dry. We're just going to automatically foil it and go ahead and apply that. This is going in the center part of the eye. And then just using tapping motions, stippling motions, we are going to blend it into the purple. So start by applying towards the center of your eye and then gently just patting out towards the purple, and it'll give you a nice diffused look. And I think that the purple and this color actually blend really, really nicely together. Then we're gonna go in with this lighter brown color, and on the same brush I used originally to diffuse, we're gonna take that brown and just diffuse the line of the purple out a little more. Now the first time we diffused the purple, it was with a clean brush. This time we're doing it with a little bit of that brown, and then once again going in and adding more purple because it faded when we blended. Now to do the face really quickly, this is the Fenty foundation in not the palest shade, but a pretty pale shade. Go ahead. Blend that out onto your face using whatever foundation you want. Make sure you get your nose. And then I'm going to use concealer. What I'm using today is the Makeup Revolution. People call this a dupe for the Tarte one, and I think it's just because of the applicator for it. The formula is really different. I actually like the formula a little bit more because it is it's less cakey, and I feel like it blends out really nicely. I like the Tarte one as well if I want like a super heavy duty one, but I actually feel like this one's better for natural looks as well. Not that we're doing a natural look, but just as like a note on the formula. But yeah, blend out the highlight that I normally do for a full face of glam. And now that the ghost face is fully enacted, we are going to set our under eyes with the Besame Lavender Powder. And just go ahead and gently press that powder into the eyes. I do not have it on camera for you, but I also set the rest of the foundation just with a regular face powder and a big old brush. And then I went ahead and did my eyebrows. I don't know what dictated the order I went about doing things. I was just doing what came naturally to me. But once our eyebrows look nice and groomed and what we wish them to be, then it was time for bronzer. And this is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. I'm using the color Light, and so I am sweeping it onto my cheek, and then when I'm blending it, I am blending it up, not down. And that'll help, you know, give a little life and also a little structure back into the face. And now some blush. I really like the color Pop blushes, and I like this pink. I feel like having a light pink contrasts a lot of the kind of cooler tones, and it creates a nice contrast that adds some freshness back into the face. I say that a lot with how I'll pick my blushes, but it's true. It's how I pick my blush color normally. And then dust a little blush over the nose to give some life back in, and then we're moving on to highlighter. This is also a Physicians Formula product. It is one of their butter highlighters. It has a very nice sheen to it. I'm only doing a very light dusting. I build it up just the tiniest bit, but you can't really see it too much on the camera. And I'm also going to highlight the brow bone / under the eyebrow area with the same highlighter. And then going back in with this purple color, our most favorite color. I'm just going to smoke out under the lash line with a little e.l.f. pencil brush, and then I'm going to go in with this lovely icy blue color that has lots of glitter in it, and unfortunately I think that was its downfall. While it was pretty, it was chunky. Then to finish it off, we are going to tight line with a black pencil. Choose whichever one you feel like works best for you. And then mascara time. We are doing the bottom as well as the top lashes. I normally put mascara on my bottom as well as lower lashes, but I just don't say it, I just show it. If you like falsies, now is the time to go ahead and slap on your false eyelashes. For lipstick, we are actually playing around with Flower lipstick. At first when I put this on, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this color. It's really bright, it's really, really pink. Not pink, peachy. But I really, really liked how it turned out. And then we are going to have lovely photos to demonstrate what the makeup looked like, because I didn't do a video showing you what it looked like because I was sick and I forgot. And for those wondering, the color on my lips of the Flower Beauty is almost nude. But yes, this is the eye look. I hope that you like how it turned out. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, if you liked the video, if you liked me and my ramblings, please give it a thumbs up if you really liked it. I hope that you click that subscribe button down below and I get to see you in the next video. I promise to be a little bit more chipper. But yep, have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are, and goodbye.